Welcome back, everyone, to part 9 of this Guts and Glory save with our starting club, Welling United. And I really wasn't expecting a waterlogged pitch to ruin my YouTube video. But ruin it has. We were, with 2 games left to play across the league, 5 points off of Chippenham Town, who were, prior to that round of games, in 7th place. They were in the last playoff place. This was meant to be a video where we said, oh, look, we've got a chance of making the playoffs despite our absolutely terrible start to the season. And instead, our game got called off. And as you can see from the results, Maidstone United have managed to slip into 7th place and are now 7 points ahead of us. We've only got 2 games to play, so we're definitely not finishing any higher than 8th. So, well, we're going to play out the last 2 games of the season and see if we can get ourselves into maybe even 9th place. Who knows? I mean, I said in the last video we weren't going to make 10th. We were too far behind. Well, we've gone and done not only that, but we've given ourselves an outside chance of getting even higher, and it kind of bodes well for the rest of the season. So we have today the last 2 games of the season at home against Weymouth and away to Slough Town, who have already been relegated bottom of the league, and Weymouth in 16th, where we were not that long ago this season. Not long ago this season, of course this season, not long ago at all. But, I mean, our run of form has been quite spectacular. I think we've only lost twice in sort of 16, 17 games, I think that is. Since you were last with us, the last one being this one against Yeovil Town. So I think we were here for Taunton and Tonbridge, which we won both. Yeovil was the only other game we lost, and we picked up some impressive wins, particularly away from home. Hampton and Richmond, we smashed 5-0. Another 5-0 against Chippenham Town, who are the team just above us in 9th place. And indeed beating Maidstone United, who are now in the playoffs. So our away form has been quite incredible. The home form, and we have won a fair few games, but the last 2 we've only managed to draw against Dover and Torquay. Torquay being top of the league, I think. Yeah, they are top of the league and on course to win the title and win promotion to the National League. So not a bad result at home at all for a team that was struggling down in sort of lower mid-table. Even, I mean, we weren't really fighting relegation, but we definitely weren't that far away from it. So some good results, some really good film. It does bode well for us going into next season. We've got a bit of work to do on the squad. We are, as you can see, a little bit short in a few areas. Don't know why you're still here. We might need to get the assistant manager to take a look at this. But we'll go into a bit more detail on that when we start to look at the transfers in the summer. Ask the assistant manager to suggest for everything. There we go. So this is what it looks like next season, and it's threadbare. It is threadbare. We've only got the 1 goalkeeper, 1 left back, 1 defensive midfielder who is on loan, so he will be disappearing. You can see the central midfield pretty much gutted. We've got plenty of wingers at least, but we've still got nothing up front. 2 central defenders. There's an awful lot for us to do in the summer. And it is something of a rebuild. I mean, this squad has finally started to come together, so there's a chance that a few contracts might be renewed. But looking at it, there aren't many. TJ Bramble perhaps is in line for a new contract, as is Mitchell Dickinson, who I think is still club captain. So he may well be in line for a new contract. Michael Class, who's another one that we brought in just on deadline day a couple of weeks ago to strengthen that central midfield position. Cameron Andrews has started to show a bit of worth. He's only 19, so there's a good chance he'll get another contract, but he's on £250 a week and he's probably going to want a pay rise, and that's not something I'm likely to be doling out to many players. However, we are currently committed to spend £5,000, so we're going to have a little bit of wiggle room, but it does look like the board might be cutting our wage budget a little bit for next season. But enough of that. Let's get into the last couple of games of the season. Let's see the end of our season, and then we can take off into the summer transfers. hopefully come back next season with a team ready to challenge for the playoffs. So the team we've got for you today is Sandford in goal, who, by the way, has been incredible. I mean, he did have a bit of a howler in the last match, getting a 6.1 and conceding 2 goals that he had no right to concede. But other than that, he has been incredible. And it's a huge step up from Winterbottom, who was a massive disappointment for us. Along the back, we've got Green, Dickinson, Holding, Notze, Taiwo, Obiera at the base of midfield, Class and Andrews in central midfield. We've brought in Ellis Brown onto the left wing and Bansal McNulty on the right wing, who's had a storming end to the season so far. And Tristan Abrahams, who has 28 goals, and he's really found his goal-scoring form in the last couple of months. So we're going to submit that team, get them underway, get the team sheets done, do the team talk, and see if we can finish this season on a high. And it's quite nice to be able to do the team talks. You say, let's continue our good run, rather than we're all sick of the bad results. It's been quite the turnaround from us. And well, I'm genuinely hopeful that next season we'll be able to get ourselves into those playoff places and start to make a name for ourselves and get the big clubs come knocking. There aren't many League Two clubs looking at me right now thinking he's the man we want to lead us forward. Although if they look at the transformation in the second half of the season, maybe, just maybe, they would. But that doesn't help. Weymouth have gone one up while I've been waffling on about my attempt at progressing my career, and it's pretty basic stuff. It's a fairly good ball along the ground from out on the right wing between the defenders and goalkeeper. No one takes responsibility for it. And I mean, I've just said how good Sandford has been. Wonder if he could have been quicker off his line there to that one. He is meant to be playing as a sweeper keeper, so he is, I think, supposed to be patrolling that area himself, but unfortunately just a bit kind of asleep at the wheel on that one. So we're 1-0 down. We're going to go, let's go attacking. We want to go and get some goals. We are the better side, and we should be winning these sorts of games. Weymouth down in 16th place, and given the way we've played recently, we should be doing a lot better. But as I said, our home form has been, well, unquestionable. The last 2 games we've drawn, one against Torquay, which isn't a bad result, but one against Dover, who have been struggling down towards the bottom of the season all pretty much from the start. But as I say, that Andrew steps in to head the ball in from close range, and it's 1-1. Bit of a poor ball that Abrahams couldn't get to, but it's served back in. Abrahams heads it. Keeper saves it. I didn't know if that was the save or the crossbar, but it looks like a save to me. And Andrews pops in with the equaliser. Oh, and this looks like the sort of free kick that you just concede from, doesn't it? It's that perfect range. And it hit the crossbar. Sandford kind of flapping at that one and not really getting anywhere near it, but we get away with it. And yeah, Weymouth had 2 shots and both of them were nearly goals. And we've got a third one. Here we go. This one is pretty much identical, maybe a couple of yards closer. And that one's just over the bar, thankfully. Despite the stats saying that we are the better team, it doesn't feel like that when you look at all the highlights that seem to be going in Weymouth's favour here. Weymouth now with the ball again. Brown intercepts well, but can't get hold of it, and Weymouth have just passed that through, and Sandford, there we go. So when I said he's much better than Winterbottom, he does stuff like that, whereas Winterbottom would have just watched that one roll into the back of the net. And Sandford comfortably collects that corner. I'm a lot happier with this man in goal. He makes me far, far happier. In fact, I think we were just a couple of games ago when I looked, we were the top scorers in the league, but we've also conceded something like 74 goals, I think it was. We'll have a look after this match, but that's why we struggle so much. I said it time and again, we can score goals, no problem. Stopping them, impossible. But I do think we've turned the corner on that. We've got a positive goal difference, which I think is equal to many of the teams in the playoffs, if not better than some of them. And it does go to show that if we'd had a decent goalkeeper from the start of the season, we may well have found ourselves a bit higher up the league. But we have finally managed to rectify that error. We have got Sandford tied down for a contract until the end of next season. So that's promising stuff for us. We've got a goalkeeper we can depend on. We just need to build a team in front of him now. And Abrahams has gone and scored his 29th goal of the season. Corner sort of bobbles around up in the air. Andrews nods it back or clips it back to the back post, and Abrahams in there to finish. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff indeed. And I think, no, that league table hasn't updated yet. Oh, well, I mean, it's a good job we're not really playing for much. Abrahams is injured. Our main goal scoring threat is injured. And I don't, feels a bit like the story of our season. We're going to make Nyarko a pressing forward here. But let's hope that that's one that clears up before the start of next season. But yeah, it does feel that I'm waiting for that league table to update, because I think we should be a little bit closer to Chippenham. There we go. 2 points behind Chippenham Town now. And we could potentially overhaul them and Bath City, depending on goal difference in the last match. But not if we go and concede. That's just... I mean, we've been football managered here so far. Absolutely football managered. They've not really created a great deal. They've a couple of free kicks and then they score from a deflected shot like that. Oh, dearie me. Oh, and I mean, we've been rattled by that second goal. We know full well we should be well ahead in this, but we've been rattled. We've given the ball away from kick-off, but thankfully don't allow Weymouth to create too much of a chance from it. But we are so rattled, we've just aimlessly hoofed the ball forward despite being in their half. Weymouth now passing the ball around with quite some skill and intent here. Can we hold out at the defence, which is, as I've said, one of our weaker elements, and we've gone behind pretty much immediately. Well, I'm going to berate them for that. We shouldn't be losing a match like this, and we certainly shouldn't be conceding 2 goals that quickly. We are going to make a couple of changes just to see if someone can come in and do something. I mean, I can't even look at the idea of going to 2 up front because I don't have another striker available to me. We'll bring off Ellis Brown and White can come on, and Class hasn't had the best of games, so we're going to put TJ Bramble in there instead. And we'll see if anyone can throw something at the Weymouth goalkeeper and put it away in the XG. I mean, we've got double their XG and we're losing 3-2. It's just so frustrating. I just want to see us win games that we should win. And I mean, I have been over the last couple of months, but we just keep doing this. It happens far too many times. The draws we've had in the last home games against Torquay and Dover, we battered them on paper. Certainly statistically, we were far better. We created more chances, better chances, but we just didn't score the goals. And this is the kind of result that we get. And I mean, that was pretty much last kick of the match, surely. And we've, yeah, there we go. Well, that's a disappointing loss. Thankfully, it doesn't mean too much. I think, however, it does mean that we're pretty much tied to where we are. I know we could still drop a place. So it's between us and Farnborough for 10th place. And let's just have a look at that goal difference that I mentioned. The goal difference is 22, which pretty much puts us on a par with 3rd to 6th there. Same as Chelmsford City and just a couple behind Worthing, Eastbourne and Tonbridge. We have scored 99 goals. We're no longer top scorers. We are 3rd top scorers behind Eastbourne and Torquay, who have 101 and 100 respectively. We have 99, but we have conceded 77 goals, which is a huge number of goals to concede. No one else in the top 10 has conceded as many as we have. Eastbourne have come close, but that's where our problem lies in defence. We need to make sure for next season we build a decent defence in front of Sandford. Hopefully, find ourselves a little bit higher up the table. Right. Let's jump ahead to our final game of the season, which is away to Slough, who are going back down to the regional divisions, and see if we can at least finish this season off on a high. Well, the good news is that Abraham's injury is 4 to 5 weeks. It's expected to be returning 2 to 5 weeks. He's obviously out for this last game, but he's going to be back for next season. No problem at all. Obiero is suspended for this one, so we have made just 2 changes to the team. Bramble coming in for Obiero at the base of midfield. And we're going to give Dejane Campbell. Dejane? Feel free to tell me how I meant to pronounce this name in the comments, but Campbell is coming in. I might just call him DJ. We'll just call him DJ Campbell. No one's ever used that name before, have they? So Campbell is going to come in, and we're just going to have a look and see what he can offer. We brought him in during this season with a couple of attempts off the bench. I think mostly playing as the inside forward on the left there. May even have been on the right, actually. But Campbell will come in, and we'll see. We'll have a look at him playing up front in his first start. Nyarko, and he's fine. He's fine, but he's more of a wing option for me. And we're going to keep him on the bench as a potential replacement. So a very similar team to last time. Bramble's come in, as has Campbell, and we're just going to go in and finish off this match against an already relegated team, and neither side have got much to play for. For us, it's about maybe getting 10th place, which it was beyond where I expected to be 10 games ago. Earlier in the season, I wouldn't have even said we were going for the top half of the table. So to potentially finish top 10, I'm delighted with that. I think we've turned this season around, and if we can continue this momentum into the summer, have a good transfer window, and start the next season strongly, who knows? Who knows? Playoffs could well be in our future. And I'm not going to talk about promotion. I think there's too many good teams in this league for us to even consider promotion at the moment. But getting ourselves into the playoffs would be a very, very good step forward for next season. So a slow start here. We've just had the one shot that went nowhere near goal, and Class he's just hit the corner of the post and the crossbar there from a long way out. It's an ambitious shot, but it's not bad. It does make me think perhaps we do need to sign him up for a second year. We did bring him in on a free from, I think it was at Worthing, back in March, just to try and, as I say, strengthen up the midfield. He's only on a contract until the end of the season because we are rebuilding. There's no two ways about it. There are plenty of players here who probably aren't at the right level, so we need to go away and strengthen. We've got a core of the team that we're keeping together. The likes of Cameron Green at left back, he's staying. Tristan Abrahams has another year on his contract. Bansel McNulty, I think we've signed up for another year, as has Otse Taiwo, if I remember rightly. So we've got a good core who are going to stick around. But there are plenty of places up for grabs. Class may well hold on to one of those, because I have been fairly impressed with how he's done in his short time with us. And he's probably better than any other midfielder we've got at the club. So he is likely to be offered a contract. I have just noted he is injured, though, so we're going to get him off and give who we've got. Jonathan Page can come on and show why he potentially should continue to stay at the club. It's not going to be easy for me to decide on who stays at the club, because the second half of the season has been it's been very good in comparison to the first half of the season. But I think there are quite a few players who they've already tainted my idea of them from that first half of the season, so they may not make it back. Lewis White can come on because Brown is exhausted, and Andrews can come off for Flanagan because he is also exhausted. We are going to go attacking for this last 20 minutes. Slough are already down. As I say, we've not got much to play for, but Farnborough, I think, is still drawing. Where are Farnborough here? Why don't I see them? Well, either way, we want to make sure that we're not losing. And ideally, we're winning to make sure that if Farnborough are playing, which would be bizarre if they're not playing at the same time as everyone else, If they are playing, well, we want to make sure that we don't let them sneak past us into 10th place. We're going to encourage them. Hold on, we're going to wait for this corner before we do anything. Oh, and there we go. Dickinson's done the job. Captain Dickinson to the rescue. We are going to time waste. We're going to do all that horrible stuff just because I want to hold on to this win. But I mean, that might well be enough for him to get a new contract. And it's what a captain does when your team is struggling. You step up, you take control, you head the corners in. Maybe Dickinson is staying for another season. And if he does it again, he's definitely getting a contract. I mean, that's going to go down as an own goal, but I'm giving that to Dickinson. We're going to have to offer him a new contract now. There's no two ways about it. I set the challenge. He's put that towards goal. I mean, it's as far as I'm concerned, that looks like it's going in. And their defender tries to head it over the crossbar. Instead, heads it into the underside. And it is 2-0. Well, there we go. Mitchell Dickinson has earned himself a new contract on the last day of the season, which is, I mean, it's fantastic. And it's exactly the right way to go about choosing who your players are based on, 2 minutes and 2 corners. Well, confirmation then of our final place finish. It's 10th, which is, it's far, far better than we expected to be. I mean, should we have a look at past positions? This was our journey. We were down here for a big period of the season. We were 13th for a long time, dripping. We did drip a bit, dropping down to 16th, and then an incredible run in the last sort of 14, 15 games of the season brought us 10th place, and just the briefest of moments, sniff at the playoffs. Next season, however, we want to be at least in the playoffs, if not winning them. So, next up, should we just have a look at? We'll confirm Torquay Crown champions, Yeovil, Worthing, Eastbourne, Tonbridge, Chelmsford and Maidstone United are the ones in the playoffs. And I mean, there's some good sides in there. Maidstone United were in the National League last season, and they're not a good side because they're Maidstone, but they were in the league above. So that's kind of the level we need to be at if we're going to compete for next season. So we've got a big summer ahead of us. Come back and join us for that when we'll do the season review. We'll do the transfer window and prepare ourselves for a second season in charge of Welling. Well, if you have enjoyed that, please do leave a like. Please do subscribe. And we'll see you for the next video. Take care.